Welcome, everyone. This is LCID932 on YouTube. I am reviewing Love is Blind DC, which is season 7, episodes 5 and 6. Yes, y'all. Netflix has decided to give us 6 episodes in 1 week. Unprecedented is usually 4. I was not prepared to do 5 and 6, but we're going to go. Please like the video, leave a comment, share, subscribe, tell a friend. I would really appreciate it. I do like these relationship shows and kind of see people, behavior, how they act, with the view taken away from them because they cannot look at the person that they're trying to date. It's very, very interesting. So let's get to it. Episode 5 starts with Brittany and Leo. Leo reads her a note. He proposes, and Brittany says, I do. I'm shocked at you, Brittany. You had all this fire in your belly saying that the angel that was here yesterday, she ain't here today. And here comes the angel just accepting a proposal. Okay, Brittany. The song they get is Life is Wonderfully Beautiful. Hannah and Nick have a reveal. Okay, how do I put this? I don't think they like each other. I don't think they like the look of each other. Okay, I really don't think they like it. But that's just me. This is an edited, curated show. I don't think they like each other. So they do kiss. He says she's so beautiful. He proposes. Their song is, love songs do come true suddenly. There was you. And I'm like, but they're not even touching each other on the bench. They're leaning away from each other. I'm like, girl, dude. Hannah says she feels bigger than him, and he may feel emasculated because that has been her experience in the past with dudes. And I'm like, interesting, Hannah. Nick does say she's gorgeous. She has a beautiful soul. And the song is You Want to See Where This Will Go. And I'm not sure, y'all. I don't think either of them liked what they saw. Because she was talking about, I'm used to the big built, football players. And I'm like, Hannah, he said he was a kicker and a punter. They're not usually big and built. I'm sorry. Sorry to tell you. But you shouldn't know. Ramses and Marissa, he gave her flowers in her pod. And, he says she makes him feel safe and secure. And Marissa says in the past, she didn't believe she deserved this kind of love. Ramses proposes. Wonderful proposal. Ramses has a way with words. I don't feel manipulation from him, but maybe I should. But I'm going to watch it because he's beautiful with a word. He proposes. She said yes. And we cut to the Leo and Brittany reveal. Remember, Brittany said yes, even though I said, girl, run. All the ladies in the lounge was like, run. They look hella awkward together. Oh my gosh, it's awkward. Leo's like, oh, he's engaged to the hottest girl. And it was weird that he kept grabbing the back of her head when he was kissing her. Even when they weren't kissing, he was holding the back of her head and playing with her hair. And I was like, Leo, let up. Leo says, I love you. Okay. And Brittany says, I'm not comfortable saying that just yet. And he's like, oh, he knew he would find her, beautiful, but don't pretend it's anything that it's not. You don't have to say I love you until you mean it. And she's like, yeah, I'm not going to say it until I mean it. Okay. He says, you bring out the best in me. He's just all over Brittany. He's like, you probably knew I was going to say, that, you're beautiful. And she's like, yeah, I know. So he said he just wants to cuddle with her. He gives her, his jacket. And she's like, you made me believe that I was second place. That's what you did to me. And I'm like, dang, we gonna have this conversation? Brittany says it's the most awkward moment of her life. And I'm like, dang, Brittany, did you really accept the proposal? Did I miss something? But she feels like he's lying when he says, I love you. I'm like, Brittany, This is sounding like a breakup song. So to the confession, she says her brain is just not clicking with this. It's just not clicking with this proposal, the acceptance, the I love you. Something is not there. And she's like, what have I done? And you cut to a sign on the screen that says, Brittany and Leo were not one of the couples chosen to take a trip to Mexico. They decided and went to Miami and broke off their engagement soon after. Now, when they were in the pod, she's like, why do we need to go to Mexico? Would you take me to Miami? And he's like, anywhere you want to go, babe. Anywhere you want to go, I'll take you. So Brittany, here's the diabolical part of myself, and I hope it's not true, Brittany, but I'm just saying my thought. Brittany probably didn't want to be filmed, okay? Brittany probably did not want to be filmed with him. This is all my guess and summation. And Brittany had Leo take her to Miami. Let's see how this works out off camera. And probably was like, nah, buddy. Nah, can't do this. Not happening. I got to go. Here's your jacket, and I'm going to leave you right there. It was shocking. It was shocking. I have not seen this ever on Love is Blind, that a couple doesn't go on the honeymoon. They go at another location and then broke up their engagement soon after. That is wild. That is wild to me. Oh my gosh. Anyway, let's go. Let's not continue this. They're gone. We done with them. Okay, until the reunion. So we have Marissa and Ramsey's reveal. And I put in my notes, I don't know. She loves his outfit. They are touching. When they first saw each other, it was like, I don't know. It was a hesitation there. So they compliment each other. And then she says in her confessional, he is a Greek god. When they formed Greek gods, he was one of them. You know, and when she calms down and stop, that's what I see with Marissa a lot of times. When she calms down and takes a breath, they kiss, they get affectionate, you know. They almost forget the ring because he walks her back to her lounge area. And he's like, wait a minute, I got to do this right. He proposes. She says yes. He puts the ring on. And the song they get is, I think we got something, don't want to think about nothing else. So we have 6 couples, y'all. We have 6 couples. We have Monica and Steven, Taylor and Garrett, Alex and Tim, Tyler and Ashley A, which we can just call Ashley now because there's no other Ashley, Hannah and Nick, and Marissa and Ramses. So first, we are going to Cabo, Mexico. Okay, I've been to tons of places in Mexico, haven't been to Cabo, so it looks beautiful. Tyler and Ashley, you know, said they didn't talk about intimacy because she talked about celibacy, and she said she's more abstaining, that she got tired of the last 3 years of, you know, sleeping with people. She got tired. And she stopped sleeping with people because she didn't have a connection. So I'm assuming she's celibate or abstinent for 3 years. So based on their conversation, and she said life started to really happen to her when she took that off the table and she focused on herself. You go, girl. You go, girl. He said he felt that when he's with someone, you're tying your soul to that person. And he's like, I'm not in my 20s anymore. So this is chill. We can go at this pace. And the song they got is We Got Good Vibration. Nick and Hannah. Hannah says she was nervous about their looks and says she likes to be horizontal. And Nick doesn't answer. Usually, when a man is attracted, usually, not always, usually, when he's attracted and you say you like getting horizontal, he may fall for the bait, but Nick didn't. He doesn't answer. He said, can we be on the same page of not talking about whether or not we have slept together? He has a brand and an image back home to uphold. Hannah, that man don't like you. Okay? If that is his response, that man don't like you. Okay? We have Tim and Alex. Alex said she is nearsighted and she wore bifocals as a child. So on their reveal, she really couldn't tell what he looked like. They had to get real up close. She couldn't really see him. And Tim is like, just say I'm ugly. Just tell me I'm ugly. We have Ramses and Marissa. She said she always wanted to be with someone like him, but never did. She judged them as not being very masculine. And that was when she had her military mindset. Now, I can understand that, Marissa, but considering Ramses said before that he gets in his head, I don't think you should have said it like this. I think it's better to say it in front of him there rather than the pods. But I'm hoping, Ramses, you don't get in your head about this. She's just overly sharing her experience. We have Monica and Steven. Prior to the experiment, she said she put a great value on what type of university or what university you went to, what type of job the man has. And she says, look at Steven. He went to a 2-year school. He's an electrician, and she does not care. Steven, meanwhile, is like, this is the fanciest place I have ever been, talking about the hotel, and said he is all waxed and ready if she wants to get down. I was like, Steven is the comic. But is the comic relief hiding something? I haven't seen all the depth of Steven other than his ancestry story. Okay. We have Ashley and Tyler. He says, his bump is little, he doesn't quite have a 6-pack. He doesn't quite have a dad bod. But his bump is his insecurity. And Ashley's like, touches it and holds it and says, you a man. It was really cute with them in the pool. He said he'll put her name on his heart because he has quite a few tattoos. And, he's like, we are in Cabo, fiance. Now she is, having a great time. They're making eye contact. They're talking. And he keeps saying great things about her. And she keeps saying, same. I don't know about you, but I'd rather, if I say I love you or I say you look beautiful, say I look handsome in return. I'd rather hear that than same, babe. To me, it just falls flat, but that's just me. Because Tyler likes it. Tyler like it. I guess I gotta love it. The song they get is Get Enough, Can't Get Enough of You. Tim and Alex. Alex says, I'm bossy. He's like, oh, you try to be, and I'm immovable. Alex, listen to the man. When people tell you who they are, what? Believe them. Alex says she used to have a short temper, gets annoyed easily, and she hates repeating herself. Alex, how far long ago was that you used to have it? Was it last week, last year, or before COVID? When was the last time you had that? Tim says, if you get mad at me, and get me outside of myself, that is a red flag. And Alex is like, oh, this is a challenge. And Tim's like, no. See, that to me, and not Tim, that to me is a red flag. Tim. And I would say run. He's saying, if you push me to get mad outside of myself, your pushing is a red flag. And so you now hear him say that, and you think, oh, I need to now try and move him and get him mad. Alex, that is a red flag. You can see that red flag from space. I'm sorry. So Alex is like, oh, so you won't beg for your wife? He's like, for my wife, yes. But I can be stubborn. And it's not because I'm right. But I can be stubborn. I don't want to, I don't want my peace shaken is what I heard from him. So one interesting thing, Tim says he's from Augusta, Georgia. And, she is so annoyed when he says, that's my dog, because he got to go back home to his parents and pick up his dog. And she's like, just get it out. Just get it all out. And he's like, yeah, that's my dog. And I'm like, why is that a problem? Now I'm thinking my dog is probably, Georgia Bulldogs. I don't know. So we have Hannah and Nick is like, hey, you never cried with me in the pods. Is that a problem, Nick? You never made her cry. Is that a problem? Hannah's like, she cried because she was being beaten down by Leo. And then asked, would you get my name tattooed on you? And Nick is like, F no. It's like, thing is that why do you want to brand this man? I hope it's not your insecurities coming out, Hannah. So Nick asked, was he a hot topic for the ladies? I was like, Nick, really? You should be a hot topic just for your fiance. He said he can't wait to see the ladies. And Hannah's like, yeah, you were a hot topic because we talk about you. And he's like, yeah, well, I don't believe that. So then he asked, he asked her if she had lip fillers. She said no. He said, wait a minute, if I had money, would you get work done? Cosmetic surgery is what he means. And she's like, nah, but after a few kids, I may get my chest area done, mommy makeover. And he's like, why? She's like, well, it probably would need to be done. And he's like, he tries to be kind and funny and, to make her feel comfortable, but they're not touchy-feely in the pool. She gets close to him and then she backs off. He sits in one spot. But I was like, y'all aren't getting touchy-feely. And then they cut away and they were touchy-feely in the pool after a long while. And the song says, baby, you get me delirious. But remember, now that I'm thinking about it, Nick said he did not want to talk about their intimate relations with the producers. Nick, what else are you hiding? So it's the first bedtime, and there's some cute things that I want to say because I don't want to talk about their bedtime too much. I ain't that interested, but Taylor and Garrett. Garrett said he sleeps with mouth tape. And Taylor's like, you sleep with what? He says a special mouth tape to keep his mouth closed, I guess, from snoring. He said it works. It's not hostage tape. And she's like, hostage tape? What? What are you talking about? So he takes out gift wrapping tape, y'all. That is his mouth tape. That is his expensive, all you can do with mouth tape. So she pulls it like he's going to let her put it on him. But she pulls it like if it really is hostage tape. She's like, eh. She pulls the tape. It's like, oh, tape your mouth shut. He's like, I'm going to do it. And he puts it on. And she's like, oh, okay, that's some high-end tape you got there. They were laughing so hard. And he had to do it himself because every time she tried to put it on, he just started laughing. So, Garrett got his mouth tape for the night. Okay, Garrett. Okay, I see you. Ashley and Tyler, they hold hands. They face each other, hold hands, and they said a prayer right before bed. Monica and Steven, he said he's nervous that she might make moves on him. He said it all clicks. They cuddle. He feels like he's been winging it for 30 years, is what he says about his life. He feel like he's been winging it, but it feels like she's been planning her 30 years. And she's like, yeah, I planned out my whole 30 years. And he's like, but he's been in the right place at the right time, just jumping in feet first, like how they are together now. I'm not sure about that. Since he likes to wing it and she is a planner, it could work, but I'm not sure. We got to find a happy balance. As he said, he'll help her be in the moment. So you have Alexa and Tim. She says it feels good, but different. And he says it feels like forever. Not Alexa, Alex. Sorry. That just came up. So we have Hannah and Nick. Got to figure out if the love is sustainable. And he thinks it is. So Marissa and Ramsey say they're so glad they're cool with each other. They're stuck together. And right after they had dinner and came back to the room, the tension was on 10 and they just had to have each other. And it was good. And engaged people have it all the time. It was good. And I'm like, okay, y'all. And she said she feels safe and loved right now. And she feels like having more intimacy with him. And I'm like, does she need physical touch to feel loved? And she said this could be the start of a fairy tale. And then I'm like, again, girl. The song they get is, I know this can hurt me back, letting my defenses drop. Y'all ain't said a lie at all. Then we have Hannah and Nick. Um, Hannah says Nick's nickname is Love Doctor, and she has so many names for this man. So they're sitting outside. It's not by the pool, but it's a little bit off on some chairs. And he's, say he can't stop looking at her and they're talking. And he's like, hey, you want to ride those little ducks? They have these little ducks that I guess kids or adults can kind of ride, like if it's a wooden horse and race. And he's like, let's do this. And Hannah's like, no, don't do it either because it'll give me the ick. He's like, give me the ick. I just want to have some fun. So he goes to ride on it, and this, other lady who's staying there, she could probably be Nick's mom, but the woman looked good, y'all. She looked really, really good. But as Nick and Hannah confirmed, she does look old enough to be his mother. And, the woman is like, let's race. And he forms the line and said, let's race to there. And the woman, she let me start this over. Hannah says, Nick, come on back here, Nick. Come on back. And Nick is like, let's race. The lady's like, oh, she's jealous. She over there, she's jealous. It's like, ooh, snap, she called you out. So they race, and Hannah says, he can't be trusted. So they laugh and talk, he, taking the ducks back, and the lady's like, thanks for the, little, ride or whatever. And Hannah is pissed. She says she's too cool or grown to be riding a duck. She has an issue with men riding things. I'm sorry, Hannah. I can't get with that. Sorry. And I'm like, is she judging him? And she doesn't want to be judged. Hannah, goose and gander. What's good for the goose is also good for the gander. Okay? She said, Nick asked if she can't deal with the lady, how will she deal with him being around other couples? Can I not be myself around you? I still love you, but can I be myself? And Hannah's like, I'm cool and I'm an honest girl. And I'm like, oh my God. Sorry if you hear any noise. Someone is passing by with a very loud stereo. The song they play for them is I Can Feel It Rising, and we move to episode 6. This is the next day after our first night hanging out. Garrett and Taylor on the beach. Garrett said that, this is all surreal. He said there are challenges they have to face. Like, they are both high-powered people, and they have to bring their very demanding, high-powered life together, And I feel like it was more warmth between them in this conversation, more, eye contact, and just their vibe together seemed much better. And all I could think of when they're sitting there and Garrett's arms out, I'm like, Garrett, just take a little buzz cut under the arm, sir. That's all I can say, Garrett. A little manscaping won't hurt. He said, but he's ready and willing to change his life for her. But I'm like, is she ready to change her life for him? We have Marissa and Ramsey. They are dancing together. They're like, they need some dancing lessons before the wedding. Because, she's like, she can't stop leading. And Ramsey's like, last night was fun. We have a strong connection. And it was really, really fun. And I'm like, is intimacy clouding them? Is it clouding their judgment? Because they're all about the physical right now. They are all about physical right now. And I'm like, y'all, did y'all dive in too deep? The song they get is The Heavens Have Opened Up. I'm sure they have. Ashley and Tyler take a pasta cooking lessons. It looked really good. And Shady Cameraman did what, the great Wendy Williams used to do. He did a little shoe cam. He got under the table and showed that they're both wearing the same pair of sneakers. The same burgundy and pink Nikes with white. So it's burgundy and top back, and the swoosh is in pink. I was like, Shady Cameraman, because I had to rewind it and pause. Am I seeing more than 2 feet? Because it could be just his feet angled differently. No, they were both wearing the same sneakers, which I think is cute, but some people don't like wearing the same thing as their partner. So Tyler's like, there's a pod baby on the way. I'm like, Ashley just talked about abstinence. How are they going to be a pod baby on the way? I blame you for this, Mrs. Lachey. Tyler says on the outside, in the real world, she would have hated him. You know, he was not nice to other people that he dated, but, you know, it's because of them. They didn't incentivize him, or they didn't make him feel his best self. So he couldn't really be the best for him. You know, so don't believe what people tell you when you hear them. And I'm like, dude, cut the crap. Are you covering up that some people you dump them or ghost them and they are still around? Are you gearing her up for a disappointment that's coming? Ashley said, I want to protect this. I want to protect our relationship. And she will protect it from her mom too, who is her best friend. And if her mom even tries to come between them, she will stop it. And she will stop any negative talk about them and their relationship. Ashley, seems like you're fighting for this relationship more than Tyler. I'm sorry. Just in this moment, it sounded like you were more the battle protector. And Tyler was like, yeah, don't listen to them, okay? Just don't listen. He didn't say he's going to put a stop to it. He didn't say none of that. He's like, I'm just listen to the haters and realize they hate me. Ashley, so far in this scene, you are fighting more than he is. Watch that, please. So we have Alex and Tim. They're out shopping. She hates the hats he's trying on, and Tim is just about his fashion. He's like, oh, look at this hat. This is me. This is me, girl. They had a great banter with each other and revealed that she has never lived with anyone before and that he's relatively neat. She's like, yeah, you neat because I'm messy. She's like, if I try on six outfits, you know, 5 of them or 6 of them will be on the floor. And he's like, you could put it in a corner. You can have your own little corner where you can drop your stuff, but it ain't got to be all over the room, okay? Monica and Steven, they have a spa date. They have acupuncture. And things are growing, you know, wonderfully between them, they say. And as she said, in his pants, too. There's a whole lot of poking going on. And I was like, Monica, that was too funny the way you said it. So Monica is nervous of getting the ick that she always gets the ick at some point. And, you know, Steven says he's never known a man who has gotten the ick. So in the comments, if I have any gentlemen viewers, let me know. Or if ladies, you do know and you've been told about an ick, do men feel the ick? Do men express an ick feeling where there's just something that wigs them out that they just don't like what they see and know of the lady? Let me know in the comments. So he says he loves waking up with her black girl headband and her natural face and hair. He just loves it. And Monica says she wants to keep those boners coming. Monica, I love that you like it, but you have me dying laughing about this. So we come to one of the favorite things of mine on Love is Blind, the pool party, where all the couples come and meet each other. There are wonderful entrances. Everybody looks great. Everybody's having a great time. I just love the fact that we don't have any cattiness and we don't have any couples where they were dating the other person's person. So it's like, I want to see you. I want to know. I want to do. It doesn't. We don't have that. So they're at the pool party. Ramsey said they've been vibing heavy. That's what he says. We've been vibing heavy. He didn't get much sleep last night. Okay. Said, you know, everybody but Hannah and Nick are engaging in intimacy. Marissa does talk with Hannah, and Hannah's like, hey, Nick doesn't want to talk about their intimate life with the producers. And Marissa's like, that's weird, because he wanted to talk about it the whole time in the pods. Now, all of a sudden, he out here, and he don't want to talk about it? That's weird. Hannah doesn't say it, but she mouths it, and I did not know the shady cameraman or the editor was a lip reader. And Hannah lips to Marissa that they did indeed sleep together. He doesn't want to talk about it. And then she proceeds to tell Marissa that Nick pissed her off, told about the duck story, and said the lady called her a jealous bee. And I'm like, Hannah, that's not what we heard. She said, oh, you just jealous. That's all she said. She never called you out your name unless the producers edited out. But I didn't think it was a whole scene, and I didn't see it cut away from her speaking. But I leave it open. Okay? Hannah also reveals that Nick said that Hannah wears the pants in the relationship. Okay. So the men are talking. Ramses said, it has been smooth with Marissa. The men love hearing I love you. So all the men are talking and they're like, I love it when my lady just looks at me and says, I love you. I love it when she just, affirms and says, I care for you and this is wonderful. They actually love it. When the ladies are talking, Ashley's like, oh, Marissa's being rammed. I'm like, oh my God. She has a glow to her, like she's getting a whole lot of loving. She's being rammed, and of course she's with Ramsey, so it just like, oh my gosh. Corny, but funny. Monica says that he makes her want to be better. Ashley says she will marry Tyler today. And he's not doing anything to F this up. I was like, okay. Famous last words, okay? Apparently, Nick tells the fellas that Hannah wrote a list of 10 things that she is questioning about him. 10 things, basically, I don't like about you today. And she wrote down a, side by side of, is it self-confidence or is he being cocky? Garrett is like, that is just too much for just one moment in time at one event. And I agree with Garrett. It is just too much. He just interacted with another person that's there on site. He is not, really flirting with women. It's just too much. Just because he did something you didn't want him to do, let the man have some fun. So the men take turns being roasted, but they weren't being roasted by the ladies. They just take a hot seat by where the ladies are gathered. The ladies more ask, what do you love about your fiance? And all of them kind of answer very well. The ladies are supportive of each other, and there is like no drama. Hannah and Nick talk about, his bullet points, and she doesn't see his point, but she expects him to understand her point. And I'm like, Hannah, it's not one-sided. You have to listen and acknowledge his feelings as well. So one of the points on it is delusional, that he's being delusional. And Nick asks, do you think I'm delusional? And Hannah has nothing to say. Daggone it. That's rough for your spouse to say that. So the show leaves food for them in their rooms. I'm sorry. Let me take a sip of water on this one. When they all come back from the party, there is snacks in their room. Netflix is like, you are not going to catch me slipping and have people saying that I'm not feeding my people. There is food everywhere, everywhere. There is food at the cocktail party. There is food in their rooms when they get there. Okay? Netflix. And you always got to have the food on camera. That's your proof. Oh my gosh. We have Marissa and Ramses. They talk about the couples. They say Tyler and Ashley getting married. Monica and Steven getting married. Garrett and Taylor, 80%. Hannah and Nick, 75%. I was like, dang, God, that's a little high for me. So the song they play is Pull Me Closer, Put Your Hands on My Body, because Marissa said, hey, we got to stop talking about these people. I'm ready to get down. Or as the Isley brothers says, between the sheets. Steven and Monica, he goes and makes sure that the room temperature is at the right temperature for her. And I was like, that is pretty cool, cute, a little more sensitive than usual. I wonder if she asked him before and he's just getting ahead of it. I don't know. I haven't seen that before. So Steven says he likes that the girls are very supportive of each other. And he likes that she is focused on the future while he's focused in the moment. And they balance each other out. And he says he never thought, about some of the things that she's talking about, like Should he move in with her and then rent his house out? He's like, she has so much. And then I'm like, is Monica carrying the relationship? Is she carrying it? Because it sounds like it. Because you'll get tired of that eventually. If she's always the one thinking ahead, and he's in the moment, it's going to get tiring. Can get tiring. Next says, she's not saying nothing. She's eating her chips and guac. And he's like, oh, am I being chatty again? She's like, I can't get a word out. You just da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. He's like, okay, I'm just put these chips in my mouth then. And he starts chewing and looking at her. And she says nothing. Monica, if you want him to stop chatting and you can't get a word in edgewise, when he stops talking, get your word in. So Monica says, you have to share the space, and I'm like, but you weren't talking. You weren't talking. So she did ask, did you feel something weird between Tim and Alex at the end of the night? And he's like, I don't think so, but she was closer to you. And then she asked him to bring her blue slippers. And I'm like, I don't know if is she constantly asking him to do stuff? Because in that moment when she asked him to get the blue slippers and he brought them, I'm like, are you making him your fetching young man? I don't want to call a grown man a boy. I don't want to be disrespectful. But are you making him your fetchit, your butler? It didn't seem very, and it could be curated, it could be Netflix, but it didn't seem very, affectionate. Like, babe, could you grab this for me? It just didn't sound like that to me. So, but I don't know. That's their relationship. So Hannah and Nick talk about the list in their room, and, they're laughing, and he's touching her, and he's like, she was talking about he was laughing with the other woman while they were doing the duck race, and he was touching all on her, and he's like, I wasn't touching all over the woman. The woman touched him and touched him gently on his arm. As I said, she's old enough to be his mom, and it tells me Hannah is adding to the story. She is adding more and more, and I'm like, Hannah, stop. So she's like, I just want to make sure you're 100% before we get to the altar. And and I'm like, you're speaking to him, because she gets the list out of the trash and it's going through the list with him. And she's speaking to him like she's lecturing him. Like, you need to do this, and this is what this is, and this. Stop lecturing him. Nick is grown. He's a grown person. Speak to your fiance, please. So Nick's like, I'm not the only one delusional. He gets up and walks away. I don't know if he left the room, but he walks away. Alex and Tim. We hear she's in the room. We hear a knock on the door. It's Tim. So I guess Monica was right that there was a little tension when they left. So Tim says all he knows is that after the party, there was a different energy. She's not telling him what's wrong. And she's like, she just wanted a long shower and go back to bed. She just wants to go home. Tim was like, yes, but I told you I felt shunned. I felt unheard. You were cutting off my sentences and I felt disrespected. She's like, yeah, covering your mouth didn't de-escalate it. And I'm like, girl, he's trying to talk to you. He feels unheard. He feels shunned. And you cover his mouth? That's disrespectful. Tim is like, it's our second day here. He tried to remove himself to be cool, but she threw it in his face. And she's like, oh, it's just her insecurities. And I'm like, girl, it's the second day there. Tim is like, you were not letting me communicate with you and talk. So, she just assumed, that, they had talked and she felt belittled because he was leaving the room. And she said their ideas of disrespect are way different. And he's like, you can't talk and listen at the same time, which he's right. You cannot do that. He continues to say he felt unheard, like she was not trying to listen. His love language is listening. And I don't remember all the love languages, but I don't know. But he's saying he likes to feel heard. Alex, in the meanwhile, she looked bored. She is just looking all over. Okay, yeah. She looks bored and not present for the conversation. And I was like, oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. So Alex says she understands he feels hurt and apologizes. He said he's told her he tries to remove himself, to be respectful, but that was an issue too. He's like, if I need my space, give me my space, please. And she's like, I felt like you were never going to come back. You packed up all your stuff. That was more than just needing your space. Tim was like, lines were crossed. What you said was not cool. And she was in his face. He doesn't like being called out his name, and it's not being taken lightly. I was like, oh. Oof. He goes on to say she has a ring on her finger, but he has to have some respect for himself. He needs to get into a better place to be able to see her as his wife and the mother of his children. Alex asks, where does this leave us? Tim is like, I'm not sure. Tim is like, I'm really not sure. Then I say, she has shattered his image of her. The way Tim is looking, he's looking so dejected. He's looking like this has been the end, like this is a failure. He is not even looking at her at times. He's just looking off. He's looking down to the ground, or he's just staring out into nothingness. So Alex asked, are we going to be in separate rooms? And he's like, I don't know. He said he came to the room with the full intention of this being the last conversation they ever had. Whoo, Tim. Alex says, I would like you to come back. I'm sorry. I love you. We can fix this. I understand what Tim is saying. I truly do. For what we've talked about before and what I've heard as well, growing up around a bunch of men, disrespect is huge. It is huge. And she has disrespected him as he sees it by calling him out of his name, getting in his face. When he tries to leave to de-escalate it, she is stopping him from leaving. I don't know in what manner, but he says that she threw it in his face. And that to me is very disrespectful. She said, I used to have a short fuse. Alex, you still have that short fuse. And apparently Tim felt the heat from it. Netflix, I don't know when you're going to show this. I don't know if you're going to show it, because on one hand, I want to see if Tim's perspective is correct. On the other hand, I don't want to see it because I don't want to see someone being disrespected. So I understand both ways of showing it and not showing it. And I veer on the fact of not showing it because the issue is Alex did not deny it. She did not deny being disrespectful to him. She acknowledged she put her hand on his mouth. She didn't deny calling him out his name or throwing it in his face. What she did say is she wasn't telling him he's insecure. She was telling him her own insecurities were making her act this way. She asked him to come to her. He's like, he don't feel like hugging her right now. So she gets off the couch and comes closer to him. She lays and hugs him, and he is not even looking at her. He is just stone-faced, staring out into like nothingness. Wow. This is how we end episode 6. Thank you for joining me, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. episode 5 and 6. We didn't think we were going to be here for 5 and 6 in the first week, but Netflix and Love is Blind has certainly given us a lot to chew on. Please leave it in the comments. How do you feel? Do you feel Tim? Do you feel Alex? Do you think that a sorry is going to fix this and go back to the way it was? Or are you like, nah, Tim, you need to run now? Let me know in the comments. I appreciate it. I will see you. I will probably be on the channel Another Round JS doing a live, but if I am doing a live about any of these episodes, I will certainly post it on the community wall. So thank you again. Like, share, subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Next week, we have 3 new episodes. Join me again, please.